Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, I'm here to give you the disclaimers for this here live. Listen, I do not tolerate disrespect. That's in any way, shape, form, or fashion, whether it's towards me, towards anyone that appears on the screen, towards anyone that appears in the chat. If you have not decided to be a better person, most people will tell you to leave, but I'm going to tell you to stick around because maybe something that is said today will encourage you to do so. Now, I am not a mental health professional. I am just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you are not alone, regardless of how much you feel like you are alone, how many times you have felt that, you are not alone. And number two, you can overcome anything that life throws at you. There will be curse words, there will possibly be tears, but knowing me, it probably will be. And my opinions are my opinions, your opinions are your opinions. We are here to have a nurturing conversations in regards to our opinions so that we will have a better understanding of each other. That's all I got for right now. I hope that you enjoy this nurturing conversation. Let's get to it. Wait. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button that helps me say suggested on YouTube. Make sure that you type in the chat, also leave a comment, and share it with your friends. That's all I got. Let's get into this conversation. I love you. Peace. Hello, beautiful people. It looks dark. Why does it look so dark? Hold on, let me turn another light on. Let me turn on the lights and light a candle. Hold on, I'm gonna turn on another light. Hopefully that makes it brighter. Or I could just. Oh, it's not there. Oh, light. It's not there. It's right here. Gonna go orange. Oh, I guess we're gonna go multiple colors this time. Sorry, y'all. Oh, I don't think we're gonna go no color. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna turn this one on too for effects. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Looking nice. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, this is the Nurturing Conversations podcast. If you're just tuning in and missed the whole disclaimer, I created this podcast so we can have a safe space to converse about taboo topics that are near and dear to our heart, but we're just afraid to talk about them out loud. So I figured I'll talk about them out loud because I ain't afraid to talk about nothing. No, I feel like people need a safe space to talk about things that are on their heart and in mind. And many of these conversations, such as the conversation we will be having tonight, developed from me. Like I realized that I process things as I talk. So if you've been in any one of my live streams or any one of these podcasts, I might be talking and I might pause this because I'm actually processing it right as it is happening. Tonight's conversation is embracing accountability. I am currently, I say that like one day I'm gonna get off this journey, but I feel like as long as we are alive, we will be on a journey. And my present journey is healing and self discovery. And the more I learn, the more I talk, the more I discover about myself, the more I sit with those things that I discover. And 2 weeks ago, I turned 43, and I have really been embracing accountability. I've had multiple conversations with several people. I've like Been holding myself accountable. I have hopes, dreams, and aspirations for 2023. And previous to 2023, I would have those hopes, dreams, and aspirations, and I would put them on my vision board or I would write them on my whiteboard. And I would just see them. Like I put post-its on around my computer screen and I would see them, but I wouldn't take any action towards them. Well, as I came into 2023, I said, I'm going to hold myself accountable for achieving everything that I write down in 2023. So not only am I writing it down, when I'm meditating in the morning, I'm saying, hey, here's your to do list for today. This is our objective. My objective is to get my passport, to finish out the platform for my business. Like these are my objectives. So I sit down and every day I do something to push me further along the journey. What I realized in my journey of healing and self discovery is I lack discipline. Discipline is what I lacked. I have so much free time, so I was like, I'll do that tomorrow. And then, tomorrow is Monday. I'll say I'll do it on Tuesday. And then Tuesday become 3 weeks later. And now I'm sitting here trying to scramble because I should have did it when I said I was going to do it tomorrow. And so I've just been holding myself accountable. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it as I am thinking about it because out of sight, out of mind. If it's not in front of me, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm just gonna be like, oh man, I forgot, and then it'll be the next day. And for me, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to put things in the back of my mind. I don't want to. I want to put things in the back of my mind. I don't want to forget things. I don't want to put things on other people. I want to handle my responsibilities. As I was thinking about accountability, I looked at my life and I was like, I could see a lot of times where, had I just taken accountability for my actions, things would have turned out different. And I know people was like, how do you know how it would turn out? We all know how things would turn out. If you know that you lied and somebody asked you, did you lie? Sometimes people are inclined to tell another lie. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people. I've come to the point in my life where I'm not going to have conversations where I have to remember what I told you because I'm not going to have those conversations. I stay away from drama. It's something about when you find peace in your life, right? I am holding myself accountable to maintain the peace that I have in my life. Like your friends will call you and be like, hey, I got this going on. I swiftly will say, I'm sorry. I cannot talk about those situations because they trigger me. And now that I really think about it, I'm using the word trigger as I can't listen, or I'm not that I don't want to listen. It's just I don't want to be triggered. And for me, I'm holding myself accountable to ensure that the peace and a safe space that I have worked hard to obtain is maintained. Sometimes we get to a place where we feel good, we're comfortable, our life is going great, and then us, we allow people into that. We allow people to take us out of that. We know people, we all have people around us that we know. We could be doing fine. This person called, text, stop by our house. You go to the family gathering, they're there. You already know when you see that person or those people, or they're going to take you out of that space. At this point in my life, I said, I survived a global fucking pandemic. I've survived a level 1 trauma surgery, cancer, vocal polyp. I survived a lot of things. Do you honestly think, this is what I'm saying, I'm looking in the camera, talk to myself, this is what I said to myself. Do you honestly think that we are going to allow anybody to stop us in 2023? It's a no. It's a no. Anything I wake up and say I want to do, I'm going to figure out how I need to do it, what I need to do it, who I need to help me get it done, and that's what I'm going to do.
It's no longer time for me to keep saying, yeah, I'm going to write a book. I got a whole outline for a book. I'm going to write it one day. It's that we throw that one day on there. I'm going to find a special someone one day. I'm going to give me a house one day. I'm going to give me a car one day. But we're not even doing the steps to actually get to that point. It's just like it's going to fall from the sky and we're going to be like, yeah, look at what I got. When in actuality, you have to work towards those things. It's like you want to be in a relationship, but you haven't even figured out yourself yet. You got to hold yourself accountable. I remember a previous relationship I was in, and we were talking about making each other happy, and I was like, you, there's nothing that you could actually do that will make me happy. It would add to my happiness that I already have, because happiness comes from in here, and it kind of sparked a little disagreement, but at the same time it sparked a disagreement, it opened up the door for communication, because what I was saying was, if I'm not happy within myself, I don't care if I have $1 million. I don't care if I got the baddest chick on my arm. I don't care if I got everything I've ever wanted. If I'm not happy within myself, none of that stuff means anything. None of it means nothing. And so, as I was journeying through this journey of healing and self discovery, I began to ask myself, are you happy? Not just happy because, like, oh, yeah, I'm happy. Like, we tell ourselves we happy. Oh, I got this house. I got a house. I'm happy, but it's not the house that you want. Yeah, I got a car, but it's not the car that you want. Like, you're not happy within yourself. So for me, it was like, no, I'm not happy. Why aren't you happy? I'm not happy because I know that I could be doing more. Why aren't you doing more? I asked myself why like five, six times. And the more I started to ask myself why, the more I started to cry. Like the cry got uglier. Like, when you just be crying, you like, you get your feelings hurt or something, you just cry. It's a little cry. But when you start to come into the realization that you are the person that is stopping you from being successful, like when you stop saying, oh, I can't be successful because they won't give me the opportunity. I can't be successful because they ain't open up no doors. They ain't giving me no, I don't have no money to do it. When you just look at your life and be like, shit, I am the only reason why I'm not in the space where I thought I would be at this age. Man, I know so many people was like, by the time I'm 30, I'm gonna be married, I'm gonna have my kids, I'm gonna do all of this. And now we up in our 40s and they ain't never been married, and it's looking like, what happened? I wasn't really, no, no, no. Let's be honest. Let's take accountability for ourselves. Like sometimes I feel personally like people be having the greatest thing for them in front of their face, but they can be looking all outside and be like, oh, I want something like that. Relationship goes, they could be like, oh, I want something like that, but don't understand what comes with that. I held myself accountable because I'm like, I just want to be happy. And for me, happiness meant not dealing with other people bullshit. Happiness meant me taking care of myself and looking out for myself and doing the things that I want to do, putting myself first. That's what happiness meant. When it was like, you know what, I'm gonna work every day. I'm gonna get up every morning. I'm gonna meditate. I'm like, yeah, 5 o'clock. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna juice. And I was doing all of those things. I was doing it. It was going great. I felt better. I felt lighter. I can move quicker. My work was getting done. I had this thing where I had this thing where I procrastinated, but it wasn't because I couldn't get the job done. It wasn't because I didn't have the resources. I procrastinated because there's this thing that happens when it's like the last minute, and it's like my adrenaline is like pumping, and it's like, ooh, it's the last minute. Let me go ahead and submit it. And I will literally, sometimes I have done this. If it's due at 12 o'clock, I have literally waited till like 11:45, 11:50 to submit it. And then here's the conversation I have with myself after I do that. Why the hell did you wait to 11:45 to submit that when you knew weeks, months, days, minutes, hours ago that you could have, like, you like, and that's when I realized, like, I like the thrill of that last minute submission. And then I had to say to myself, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And then I'd be mad if I miss it. Like, say it's a technical difficulty and it was 12:01 when I submit. Then I'd be mad, like, oh, they know they could have. No, I knew months ago that was done. I could have completed it months ago and been good. I'm gonna tell y'all, 2023, I've been on top of things, holding myself accountable. Hey, this is due June the 30th. By February, I'm already getting it filled out. So when June 1st hit, boom, I'm submitting it. I'm trying to submit it too early because I wanted to get it lost, but I want to submit it. I have to start holding myself accountable for procrastinating. There's no reason for you to be procrastinating. You have all of the tools and the resources. What are you doing? Gotta hold myself accountable. Why do I have to hold myself accountable? Because if I don't, I'm just gonna be out here freestyling. Just freestyling. Out here freestyling, just, oh man, they didn't give me the opportunity. We all have the same opportunities. Some of us just choose to take advantage of them. I remember I was before the pandemic hit, I was encouraging music artists, like, hey, you should get you some recording equipment or some studio equipment to have at your house, an event, maybe you can't get to the studio or the studio down or the engineer go on vacation. You could still like do your rough drafts at home or whatever, right? Then the pandemic hit, and then it was like, we can't go to the studio. You can't even go outside. You couldn't even go outside. You couldn't talk. You couldn't go to your family house. You couldn't go nowhere. And I was sitting in my house and I was just thinking, like, now what am I going to do? I think a lot of us was like, well, now what am I going to do? And I was just like, oh, I'm a stream. I'm a stream on Twitch. And I was like, okay, what am I going to stream on Twitch? So I just started, looking at Twitch to see what I could stream, what I could stream, Not, oh, let me do all of this stuff to get, because for me, I'm not about that. Like, I don't do social media. I don't do all this stuff to go viral or be famous. I don't do that. I mainly selfishly, if you're listening to this, I mainly selfishly do it for me, to get out of my comfort zone, to get more comfortable talking, because I said in 2020, like, I'm going to come out of this, I'm going to be a public speaker, right? Now, in order for me to get to being a public speaker, I had to get past my hang up with my voice. I had to get past my hang up with my voice, right? We gonna get real for a minute, right? When I was younger, I was taken advantage of, and I had my innocence stolen. I'll say that. I had my innocence stolen. And, you tell people, like, you say, hey, this is something that happened to me. Help me figure out what is going on. Because in my mind, when things happen, your mind goes through all these different things. And so I'm telling people, and in my mind, I'm thinking, like, they're going to do something. Nothing. Instead, I was getting asked questions like, why would they choose you? Or what did you do to make them? And in my mind, I was young. So that's like causing me, like, I'm looking at it like, wait, what? And so then I was just like, you know what? Nobody's listening to me anyway, so I'm just gonna stop talking. And I literally, for 2.5 years, stopped talking. Like, not a word. Like, people would talk to me. People were trying to do all kinds of things to get me to talk, but I was like, y'all don't care anyways. So then that became the thing that I had with my voice. People aren't listening anyway, so why should I talk? I have a beautiful singing voice. I didn't sing because who's going to listen? Who's going to listen to me? If they can't even listen to me with this, who's going to listen to me? And it wasn't until 2022. I'm 43. 2022. I was 42 years old that I went to vocal therapy, and I'm sitting in vocal therapy and they're telling me I have to have um surgery to remove polyps on my vocal cords, that I made the connection of the hatred I had for my voice and the experiences I had when I was little. The connection. I'm sitting in vocal therapy and we're doing vocal exercises, and I like it was like, this is why you don't like your voice. And I was just like, holy shit. And I just started bawling. My vocal therapist passed me some tissue and she was like, I don't know what just happened, but I'm here to support you and whatever just happened. And when I say bawling, I wasn't bawling. I was wailing. Like, that cry came from 11-year-old me, 12-year-old me. That cry came from a place where it was just like, holy shit. It wasn't so much that I wanted other people to hear what I was saying. I wanted to hear me say it. I wanted to hear me acknowledge what happened. Because I feel like I knew, because of course I was in the experience, but I just threw it in the back of my mind and was just like, okay, I made it through it. That's what I was saying to myself. I made it through it. When in actuality, it triggered me so my entire life. And going through therapy helped me to hold myself accountable for my feelings. Hold myself accountable for my feelings. Not the thing that happened to me, but the feelings that I suppressed because I felt like nobody cared. Nobody would listen to me anyways. And so I started to harm myself by holding things in, by not saying things, by just experiencing. It's like, okay, I mean, that happened, so bad things are just going to continue to happen to me. And it wasn't until I shifted the way that I saw life and things started to change. When I acknowledged, okay, this happened to me, but this doesn't define who I am, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was literally like that. Like, I remember my therapist saying to me, she said, those things aren't yours to carry around. And I looked at her and I said, what things? And she's like, that. And it took me a minute to get what she was saying, but the things that the person endured before it happened to me wasn't mine. The guilt of it, that wasn't mine. Like, I was a child. I didn't know. But nobody tells you that, right? Nobody says, hey, this happened to you. You're probably more likely to hear, hey, what happens here stays here, and they didn't mean it, or we don't, they said they were sorry. Like, it's so many different things that happen that shouldn't happen, but it becomes normalized because it happened to people before you. And you're probably like, why has this got to do with accountability? If you know that something happened to you, I'll say it like this, right? If you know that something happened to you and you start to see things happening with someone else that you love, like say it's younger siblings or younger family members, and you know, we be knowing. I'm going to say we need to hold ourselves accountable for discounting people's feelings, discounting people's experiences. We definitely need to hold ourselves accountable for that. Because a lot of times we just look at people and be like, oh, they'll be good. Oh, I'm praying for you. I'm praying that God help you, when you know all that person really needs is a hug. All they really need is a hug. I was telling people, you ever have a moment where you just driving or you watching a movie or you just doing whatever you're doing, and somebody like literally engulfs your entire being. Like you just think about them, like you wasn't thinking about them at all, and then they just, hey, and you say, I should call so and so, I should go by so and so house. I personally feel like that is God, Buddha, Allah, the universe, whoever it is that you believe in, is trying to tell you that this person needs you at that particular time. Maybe you can't get to their house, but if you call them or FaceTime them or message them, maybe that's what they need at that particular time. But I feel like sometimes we busy. We so busy doing nothing. But we be busy. And we just be like, yeah, I'm gonna call him tomorrow. And you ever had an experience where tomorrow never come for that person? You see, when people unalive themselves, you see people always be like, well, they were smiling, they look so happy, I didn't think anything was wrong. But you knew, like, you had a feeling. They didn't look like they normally looked. When I say embrace accountability, I'm not just talking about like the things that we say or do. I'm talking about holding ourselves accountable for when we see our brothers and sisters, or we see family members or friends. We know that they are not okay, and we just, well, that's not my problem. Or they grown, they could figure it out. For me, I feel like if we had a community, if we had a safe space, if we had a safe space where people could talk about the things that are going on with them, and where people would be so secure with themselves where if somebody judged them, they wouldn't even care. I tell people all the time, I say, so many people are caught up on people judging them, not realizing that people judge you every day. From workforce to relationships to when you go shopping, buy gas, purchase a car, you are judged every single day. As long as you are alive and as long as you are a human being, you will be judged every day. That's something that we should like say, like, hey, people are going to judge you. Not that you have to really care about what they say, their opinions. It doesn't really matter, but you will be judged. I'll make it even Jesus himself was judged by the same people he came to save. So if Jesus, one of the greatest deities according to man, was judged, how do you think that you won't be judged? I think we have normalized not expressing our feelings or not putting words to our feelings, so that we are now just reacting. We haven't taken accountability for our feelings, so we are now just reacting. When someone says something we don't like, we pop off, and then it's only after we say the shit that we knew we shouldn't have said, but we say the shit anyways. And now it's like, how do I backtrack that? How do I backtrack that? How do I get around that? How do I do it? How do I didn't mean it. I didn't mean what I said. I was just, you had just made me mad. How do we get that? How do we take that back? You can't take that back. Once those words are out there, I remember when I started the journey of healing self-discovery, I said, I'm going to be light, love, and positivity. That's my goal. Light, love, positivity. Every day I wake up, I'm looking at the world. I'm like, it's so fucked up. Like, the world is truly, truly fucked up. If you don't believe me, watch the news. Fully, truly, truly messed up. At the same time as truly messed up, we don't have the luxury of playing around. I'll say that. I be telling people all the time, like, at any moment in our lives, we can check out of here. Whether we go to Walmart, the grocery store, church, school, um, the corner store, outside on our porch, to our cars. Any moment we can leave this big beautiful earth. Why would we want to chance that? Like, why wouldn't, having survived a global fucking pandemic, why wouldn't you want to live your best life right now? Maybe it's just me that's looking at it like, damn, I could have died in these last 3 years from all of the shit that I've been through. I could have died, but I am still here for a reason. And the reason is to share the resources. I was telling my family, I said, if I would have died in 2021, 2022, there's so many resources that I would have like took with me. There's so many wisdom, so many like gems, now like so much I would have took with me, when it's like I had older people sewing into me so much, and it's like here I am just holding all this information because I'm like, I don't like my voice, I don't like the way it sounds, I don't want to talk because I mean, who's going to listen? Like, my thing wasn't with people, it was the inner me, the inner me. It was the inner me causing me to hold myself back from having conversations. I remember the first time I had a conversation with somebody I love, and I'm not gonna sit here and jack like, oh, it was the greatest conversation ever, because it wasn't. That conversation was so tough for me. It was so tough for me to have. It was so tough for me to have, but it was necessary for me to have. Why? Because I needed to tell this person what I needed to tell them. And that's when I realized that at this very moment, while I'm having a conversation with them, I'm like, at this very moment, I am truly walking in my adulthood. And when I say adulthood, it's like, when you can actually tell somebody where they can get on and get off, and you could do it not so like viciously, but you do it where in a loving manner, where it's like, hey, listen, I'm not with that. I don't want to do that. I don't want you to do that. I just want us to be good. And when people, you know, go past that, there has to be some kind of boundaries that is set. I begin to understand boundaries, and I begin to learn how to set them, holding myself accountable for setting those boundaries. Was it easy? Not at all. Not at all. It's a many a days I was like, ooh, oh, I think I'm gonna be lackadaisical today and not, I'm gonna do it just this one time. And myself said, no, ma'am, you put the boundary there. You gotta hold yourself accountable for it. You gotta stand 10 toes down on it, no matter how, what sob story you get, because when you start setting boundaries and you start like looking out for yourself, I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna hear. You're gonna hear, oh, you think you better. That's my favorite. It's not really my favorite, being sarcastic. That's my favorite one that people throw. Like, you stop hanging out and you start focusing on your business. You start, focusing on education or whatever it is. You're gonna get that, oh, you think you better. You too good to go to the club now. Yes, I am, because I am working on something. I don't want to have survived a global fucking pandemic, and 3 years later in the pandemic, I'm just sitting here twiddling my fingers. I don't have a business, a job, a career, a husband, a wife, a cat, dog, a house. I don't have anything. Just me. And if you are sitting here right now listening to me and you don't have anything, I want to encourage you to find that thing. Hold yourself accountable for being in the situation that you are in. That's the greatest thing you could do, is hold yourself accountable. Take the blame from everybody else. It's not everyone else's fault that you are not in the place where, take it away. Take it away. You are not in the place where you want to be because you You didn't do the job. You got a good paying job, but you wanted to show up late. Hold yourself accountable. If you know that you have a tough time getting up in the morning and you're supposed to be at work at 9 o'clock, set your alarm for at least 7:45. At least. Leave the house at like 8:40. I mean, not 8:40. Leave the house at 7:40 so you'll be there on time. Sleep in the car. Be on your phone in the car. At least so you can clock in on time. You can't go to these people's job late and expect for them not to fire you. You're late. The contract or the agreement that you signed, you will come to work at this time and leave at this time. Hold yourself accountable. If you are a parent and you tell your child you're going to do something, hold yourself accountable, because I'm going to tell you, if you don't, I don't know if y'all know this, but little kids will definitely tell you. They like little reminders. You want to remember something, tell a child, because they're going to remember. I'm telling you this. I picked my niece and nephew up from daycare, right? I told them I was going to take them to the water park. We haven't been able to go to the water park, but every time they see me, they say, TT, we going to the water park. Every time they get in my truck, but TT, we going to the water park. So I took them to the swimming pool. TT, we going to the water park. In my mind, I'm thinking like the swimming pool was like the water. Nope. I got to take them to the water park. Today, my nephew said, TT, I got money. I go buy toys. And I said, yep, I'm going to take you to go buy your own toys with your own money. And he was so excited. And tomorrow, what am I going to do? I'm going to take him to buy toys with his own money. Because I said that's what I'm going to do. I start to pay attention where my uncles used to say, the only thing you have is your word. Like, your word is bond. Like, I used to hear that all the time growing up. Like, if you can't do something, don't say you can, because people are going to expect you to do it. And so I would call myself like a woman of integrity, because if I say I'm going to do something, if I say I'm going to take you to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, knowing I just laid down at 5:55, you going to be at work before 6 o'clock in the morning. You're going to be there. I know I just said I was laying down at 5:55. If I haven't slept at all, I will take you to work. And then I started to realize the toll that was taking on me. And I had to say, hey, we can't be volunteering our services for that. We can't do that. Why are we doing that? We need rest. We need to sleep. We need to kick our feet up and have time. We need to watch movies. We need to listen to music, play video games. I need to just do something. A couple of weeks ago, I had got so as an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, you're totally gonna get what I'm saying. I had got to the point where I feel like I've been doing this for so long, and I got to the point where I was just frustrated. I was frustrated. And I looked at my computer screen at the project that I was working on, and I just said, fuck it. Just forget it. I'm over it. I'm done. I'm just done. Right? This is what I said. I said, I'm done. And the moment I said I'm done, I heard, go sit in the backyard, or go visit and sit in the backyard. And I was like, okay. And I shut my computer. I shut everything down. I closed my notebook, and I just walked out the door. And as I was walking out the door, it was like, hug the tree. And I was like, hug the tree? What? I'm not about to hug. What I look like hugging a tree? But guess who hugged that tree? And I hugged that tree, and it felt, I don't even know how to put it in words. But it felt like something was like lifting off of me. And so I went and got this book. It's called Black Founders. So I went and got the Black Founders book. I went and got me a blanket, and I went and visited my brother, and I just went and sat in his yard. He got big old yard. So I went and sat in this yard, took my socks and shoes off, and I put my feet in the grass. And I'm laying, reading a book, looking up. And as I'm reading the book, I get to this passage, and it was literally what I had just said. Forget it. Fuck it. I'm done with it. And then the words after that was like, but you can't, because if you give up. And I was just like, at this time, I'm bawling. And I was just like, but I'm so tired. Like, how much more do I have to go before it just be like, it works? And so it was like, I don't think you're really worried about that. I think you really, really want it to be like, and I was like, yeah, that's what I really want. And so I didn't think about it. I didn't go, that was like a Thursday. I didn't touch my computer again until Sunday. And when I sat down at my computer, I thought to reach out to two of my competitors. I'm going to do it like this. Two of my competitors, people who the business world see as competitors for me. However, I don't see them as competitors. I see that we can all work together in the same lane, because we all do different things, but in the same lane. So I reached out to two of my competitors, and they poured, sorry, y'all, that's that live processing. They poured so much into me. They poured so much into me and just told me their stories and why it's important. And it's like I already knew that. It's just, when you just know, you just get frustrated, like, ugh. But they poured so much into me, and they became my mentors. They offered to become my mentor. So, like, I have my competitors are now my mentors. But it was the things that they said to me. It was the conversations that we had, and the things that they said in the conversation, the things that they revealed, their experiences, and the same frustrations that they had and how they overcame them. And for me, it was like, oh, it couldn't have come from a better, I don't even know. I just was really like, I'm sitting on the video call, like, I cannot believe that I probably would have really looked. I'm only doing this because technically they are my competitors, but I would have considered y'all. I never considered them, but I'm supposed to consider you my competitor, when in actuality it all works together. Like, here's an analogy. If I'm selling vinyls, right, and they have t-shirts and they have a press, all of us can work together to form a printing business or whatever. We can all work together. We're in the same lane, but we're all working together. We grow faster when you work together. I be telling music artists this all the time. I say, if you want to get further, yes, your music is cool. It is great. You're doing a good job. You have fans. But if you combine it with someone else, now you have your fans plus their fans, and you get new fans. Collaboration always pushes the needle forward. Always. Once I had those conversations, I grabbed my book, I grabbed my notebook, I sat down, and I was like, what is it that I really want to do? I had to get clear. When you could do so many different things, you're doing everything. And I was like, you know what? I really want to do this one thing. While I can do all of these different things, I really want to do this one thing. And because I have mentors who do those other things, I can now outsource it to those people and just focus on me doing this. Do you know, after those two conversations, I felt a peace where it was just like, I needed to host conversations happen. If you ever pay attention, this is what I'm going to tell y'all, something else I learned on the journey of healing and self-discovery. pay attention. You know, a lot of times we just be thinking like, oh, this person just randomly called me, or I randomly bumped into the person. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I feel like God, Buddha, Allah, whoever it is that you worship or whatever, has already designed things to happen. But we be so busy, we be moving so much, we don't even be paying attention to it. And then when we pay attention to it, it always be like, dang, I wish I would have knew that then. But if you actually pay attention, I've had conversations. It's Sunday. I've had confirming conversations this week. And after every conversation, I've cried. You know, like you ask yourself, why? Like, am I helping? I said I want to be light, love, and positivity. I want to have a safe space. I want everything around me, whether when I go live or when I'm doing karaoke, whatever it is I'm doing, I want people to be able to absorb inspiration, feel empowered. Like I want them to be able to be absorb that, like absorb peace, healing, strength, courage, wisdom, knowledge. I want them to be able to absorb that. So that's what I strive for every time I come on camera or I open my mouth. That's what I strive for. Not just because I want to be all powerful and all knowing. It's because I want to share. I want to help, assist. I want people to be okay. That's really what I want. I just want people to be okay. I realize that I have this thing where I didn't know what it was before when I was younger. I never knew what it was. Like I would be overwhelmed. Like I would watch the news and I would be overwhelmed and I had no idea what it was. And then I started to understand what an empath was. And it made so much sense to me because I would start to feel things. Like you talk to people and you could feel like the weight that they are carrying. And sometimes you ever have a conversation with somebody or somebody call you, you like tired. You like dead tired. And you can hear it in their voice. You can hear that something is not right in their voice. And some people will just be like, girl, I'm tired. I'm going to have to talk to you tomorrow. But those of us who have that will listen to you. And I say sometimes, a lot of times, people just need a safe space. People just need a safe space. Sometimes just to talk. Sometimes just to have people to listen. Sometimes just to hear themselves say it. Sometimes just to have a hug. Sometimes just to watch a movie and laugh. Like, sometimes we be thinking like, excuse me, people just be needing like, I don't got it. I don't got it. Like you ever had somebody who's like, man, I'm hungry. He's like, man, I'm gonna pray that you get something to eat, and you got a whole refrigerator full of food. I know you probably like, that's not my responsibility, but in actuality, if we are helpers one to another, and you know you got more than enough. I don't know. These last couple of weeks, I've really been thinking about how I can help, how I can share the resources. I've been able to like whiteboard stuff, and after I'm done whiteboarding, because I'm really intentional in the things I do, I'm able to send an email or I receive an email and it's like, how can I help you accomplish this? And these last couple of weeks, that's what's been going on. And I said to myself, there's no way you can ask for these things and let them fall. There's no way. There's no way you could say, I want to score a documentary, and somebody call and say, hey, are you still scoring documentaries? I'm going to be like, nah, I'm not scoring documentaries right now because I'm not. No. Yes, I am scoring a documentary. Can you send me over the footage and we can go from there? There's no way I'm going to want to be a makeup artist. I don't want to be a makeup artist, but I'm just saying hypothetically. There's no way I could want to be a makeup artist and I'm just going to sit by and be like, well, I don't have clients. Well, nobody is coming to, I'm not getting booked because in my mind, this is what I think. I'm not saying that you're not, I'm just what I'm saying. This is what I'm thinking. There's so many different ways to become a makeup artist. And I know most people just think like a traditional makeup artist where you have people come and they sit in your chair and you beat their face. But one day I had suggested this to someone like, if you're a makeup artist, how about doing something for like not charity, but like how about doing something for domestic violence people or people who have cancer? Like have a day where you like, hey, we want to do this something special for mothers, or we want to do something special for mothers who have lost children. Like, how about doing something like that? Because that will get your name further than you just constantly talking to your friends saying, hey, come book with me. Because if y'all ain't picked up on it now, your friends, they'll do it like maybe one or twice, because one or two times because they like you. That's my friend. I want to make sure. But the reality of it is, if we go outside of our comfort zone, go outside, this is something I had to learn in the business that I do. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna work with these people. Yeah, I'm gonna work with these people. And those same people was like, oh, I'll worry about that when I get over there. And then I was like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna talk to these whole different people. I'm gonna spread my message farther and wider, and when it gets to where it's going, then y'all will understand why, how important I am and why you need to work with me. And then now it's at the point where it's like, man, I totally see what you're saying. I get it. When can I sit down? My my bookings is I told someone the other day, I said, I have to be careful. I know everybody has to be careful, but I seriously have to be careful in what I ask for. Because, I heard the term booked and busy, and I was like, yeah, I want to be booked and busy. All 2023, I'm going to be booked and busy. And then I started to get booked, and I was starting to get busy. And after just having a major surgery, it's a no. I said, hold on. Hey, can I get a redo? Can I get a like? I need to redo this because I like the book. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the book and busy, booked and busy. I do like it. I just have to do it in moderations. It's a moderation for me, and I'm holding myself accountable on that because, yeah, I'm not trying to be working all the time. Like I want to be able to work. My ultimate vision is I want to be able to have this platform together so I can work anywhere in the world. If I decide I wanted to go live in London for 6 months, I could literally work anywhere in the world. That's my objective. So when I say I'm building out something or I'm working hard towards it because I know it's going to work, I've already tested the market, I've already done all of those things. I've held myself accountable for doing that. I'm not just like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna start this business, and then 3 months later, it's like, girl, how your little business going? No, it's not gonna be a little business. It's gonna be like, damn, she really. I remember when she was on her live talking about she was gonna build this platform. Cause I'm definitely gonna tell y'all about. I'm definitely gonna walk y'all through it, show y'all how to use it and everything. Maybe you're not a musician, but you married to one. Your baby daddy, baby mama, cousin, auntie, uncle, niece, nephew, somebody do music. They definitely need it, and I'm holding myself accountable for supplying all of the resources. I'm sharing concert etiquette. I'm sharing everything. I was telling someone, I was like, oh, I have this channel, I have this channel, I have all these different channels, and they was like, why do you have all of the different channels? Why don't you just make one channel? And I was like, you know what, that makes so much sense because I don't even be having time right now to do the channels that I got. And then I found out a way of how I can do all of those channels though, but I'm gonna focus on my main channels right now. Yeah, we're doing this. When you hold yourself accountable, there is no way that you can fail because once you hold yourself accountable, you are making sure, hey, I am going to write this book. You're going to make sure that outline, you're going to do the research on if you could publish it yourself, if you have to have another publisher. Do you need an ISBN, or is the publisher you go with going to give you one? Who's going to do the cover art? Who's going to print it? Are you getting paperback? Are you getting hardcover? Like, where are you going to get it print? Like, you're going to figure all of that out. I know that sounds like a lot. That's what happens too. Because when I be talking to music artists, like, you need to do one, two, three, and once one, two, three is done, you got to do four, five, six. Like, this, it has to go in this order. They be like, Miss Ashell, that's a lot. I don't want to do that. Then I'll be like, oh, okay, well, here's my fees for doing it for you. I always make sure that I let people know, here's what you need, here's how you need, why you need it, here's what it's going to cost, so that you will know. You'll be in the know. And I hold myself accountable for making sure before I say anything, I'm going to make sure I tell you my rates. And that gives you the opportunity to decide if that's, if you can and you can't. And then we can move on from there. Once I understand okay, we can move on from there. Other than that, yeah, no. Because I remember what happened was I didn't value myself. I was just like, yeah, I'm just trying to get clients, trying to do. And I was underselling myself, or I wasn't charging people, and I was doing tons of work. You ever do something for somebody and then you walk away with nothing? Like, you was like, yeah, it's gonna be cool, but you walk away with nothing. And I thought to myself, I did too much work to walk away with nothing. I won't do that ever again. I won't do it ever again. Like, you be in a relationship, you be like, I've given so much of myself for this relationship, and the other person over there just taking you for granted. Yes and no for me. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm focusing on me and myself and maintaining the peace that I currently have. That's it. That's all. Some of the benefits of holding yourself accountable, you're not out here pointing fingers at everybody. And once you get to that point where you like, okay, this is what I want to do, and you see the road that you need to take to get there, you're not blaming other people. You're taking accountability. You're taking responsibility. It is now on you to stand on your own 2 feet to get there. We all could say, oh, my parents I didn't know. I get that. I get you probably didn't know. But with all this AI, internet, Google, YouTube out here, there is no reason for anybody to be saying they don't know. No reason. No reason whatsoever. I was telling people, like, I'm an OG now. I'm an OG now. So the wisdoms that was passed down to me, I'm passing down to the people that's coming behind me. Family members doing music, you think I'm letting them out here getting taken advantage of? It's a no. They're not listening to me. I told y'all my thing was at the beginning of this podcast. It doesn't take a million people to hear me. All it takes is one. And that one person can get 10, and 10 can get 100, 100 can get 1,000, 1,000 can, it goes up from there. All I need is one mic. All I need is one mic. Hey. No, but the reality of it is we have to start taking accountability for our actions, our thoughts, our deeds, the things that we do, the things that we say. We got to take accountability for that. You can't be out here gossiping about people and then somebody call you to the carpet and you be like, I didn't say that. You did. Yes, you did. You just didn't think that somebody was going to say that you said it. And that's where, for me, it was like, I'm at a point now where whatever I say, I'm going to stand 10 toes down on it. If I said it, I said it. What's going to happen? Either, some people going to be wonderful. I'm too pretty to fight. Too pretty. Too grown and too pretty to fight. What I look like out there fighting. I used to tell people, like, you out here fighting because somebody called your mama a bitch? Well, that's my mama. I get it. Trust me, I totally get it. But what if y'all fight and then after they fight, they done pulled your hair, you done pulled their hair, y'all done fought, clothes all ripped, shoes, and then they get up and call your mama a bitch again? You gonna fight them again? Like, some things in my mind I be trying to make it make sense, but it doesn't. Fighting doesn't. I mean, unless you're a boxer, but fighting doesn't. Nothing. I love to talk. We could sit and talk all day. I mean, we don't have to talk all day, but I would love to talk about any differences that we have. Safe space. There's no judgment over here. I just want to talk about it. Because, like I said, my opinion is my opinion, your opinion is your opinion, but I'm willing to sit down and understand where you are coming from. It's one thing to hold other people accountable because people like to hold other people accountable, but it's another when you hold yourself accountable. Think about your foundations. How did you grow up? Did you grow up with parents saying they sorry? Did you grow up with parents yelling at you every freaking day? So then, anytime somebody raised their voice, now you are triggered because they're yelling at you. Did you see people when they got into, you see your parents when they got into conversations and your father stormed out or your mother stormed out? Like that was the thing to do. So whenever things get heated, are you like storming out? Like we got to look at things like that. Sometimes we don't like to look at what was to understand how we came to be right now. Like a lot of people, I don't think they look at their previous relationships. I think they just get out of one relationship and be like, I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to sleep by myself, or I need somebody to help me pay these bills, or whatever it is. I'm just throwing out situations, and be like, I need to be with somebody. And so they get into another relationship, not realizing that they are broken and the other person is broken, and now two hurt people are hurting people, and that's what it is. I just wish that people took the time to heal. Parents, especially, healing. I remember when I was growing up, you would hear a lot of the adults say, I'm never going to do my kids like my mama did me. I'm never going to make my kids eat bologna, or like, I'm never going to make my kids. Like, I watched a video on the Shade Room. Ooh, the Shade Room. Sometimes, the Shade Room. Anyways, the the question was, what generational, I think it's curse or generational something, that you break, or are you working to break? And the lady was like, I got money. I got money for cars. I got money for toys. I got money for books, fairs. I got money. She's like, I got money. You know, when we was growing up, they didn't have money for nothing. And I was like, hmm. I was making a joke with my mom the other day. I was like, I don't think I will ever eat bologna ever again. Bologna, potted meat, Vienna sausages. But it's crazy because as an adult, I'm looking at that stuff like, why the fuck was I eating that? But as a child, it tasted good. Throw some hot sauce on there, fry that bologna up, put some mustard on, toast that bread a little bit. Listen, I'm telling y'all, we lived. I had a really great childhood. I mean, despite but I had a really great childhood. I had a really great childhood. And as I got older and this journey of healing self discovery, I just look back to like, man, my mother is a really amazing woman. My mom's birthday is coming up on August the 4th. And I thought about all of the kids, not just kids, teenagers, adults that like would come to our house, and my mom would help them, and like some of them even lived with us. And I thought about my mom never complained. She never was like, I don't have this. My mother always made a way. And I laugh at people when they be like, I don't want to be like my mother. I want to be like my father. And I never said that because I watched my grandmother do some really amazing things. And I'm not saying she was perfect, but she did some really amazing things. And I only said that because people were like, well, everybody. Anyways. And then I watched my mom do some really amazing things. And I never saw them complain. And I always saw them have an abundance of. And then I started looking at my own life and I was like, man, I've had an abundance of too. But at this point in my life, it's like, it's a no. You know, there's a thing called enabling. And then when people are so used to you doing, and then you like, I'm thinking about me, boo. Can't think about you because I got to think about me. Then it becomes a problem. And I had to hold myself accountable for that because I was hoping and praying and wishing that things would change, and things didn't change. And I just had to just be like, hey, I'm going to press pause on you for a minute. And sometimes people don't understand that you pressing pause is not saying I'm never gonna speak to you again, or I'm done. I'm washing my hands of you. It's just I'm choosing to focus on me right now. Like most people are selfish because they don't even ask what's going on. They just wanna, oh, you just gonna stop. It's not even about you. Like that's some things that people. It's not even about you. Sometimes people make decisions because they're doing what's best for them. It's not about you. If somebody has stepped away from you, or if somebody has distanced themselves from you, now sometimes it might be you. Sometimes it might be you. But sometimes it may not. It may just people be growing up. I was like, people be growing up and sometimes they don't be going to let their friends loose because it's like, man, it's been my friend since third grade, fourth grade. We went through a lot of traumas together. And then there's this thing called trauma bond, but I'm not gonna talk about it today. But there's this thing called trauma bond where people be friends because they experience a lot of traumas together. And then it's like, what are y'all really? What makes y'all friends? Like, are y'all really friends? And then when you have to answer that, you have to answer that question. Some people don't be telling the truth about that. So people like, yeah, this is my girl. Like I had somebody that I was dating, and I asked him, I was like, why are y'all friends? And he was like, what the you mean why we friends? We friends because that's my girl. She always got my back for everything. And I was like, okay, I don't know you for this length of time, and I've seen a one-sided situation. I seen this person call you when they need some money, when they need a place to stay, a ride, whenever. I seen them call you for that. But when you called them to get a couple bucks for gas, they was like, oh, I don't got it, and why you calling me and all this, and then turned around and called you again. So for me, I wouldn't consider that a friend. That's just me. I'm just saying. I wouldn't consider that a friend. And then they were looking at me like, no, that's not how it happened. And they was defending. I was like, hey, I'm just telling you my observation. That's all. And the next time, we was out, and it was just like, wait a minute, that is happening. And sometimes I just feel like some people just don't have they just be moving in life. They just be moving. They don't be paying attention. They don't know that they should pay attention. Like somebody asked me, it was like, when you when you talk to people that are looking to invest in your business, they be asking you all these questions. It's like, hey, well, with Google and YouTube, couldn't the artist just look that? I was like, yeah, they could Google that, but if it's not what they don't know what they need. They don't know what they know until they need to know it. Like you don't know that you should trademark your name or copyright your name. You don't know that, or not your name, but copyright your music. You don't know that unless somebody say it. And then even if somebody say it, they don't tell you why. They don't tell you how. They don't even show you how to do it. And so they was like, oh, you're doing all of that? I was like, yeah, show you how. I do it for you. Everything you need to be successful. I could walk you through that. And he was like, oh my God, that's wow. I thought, it's like, why do I have to tell you all of that when my pitch is like clear as day. It's clear. I ensure that music artists get a financial return on their musical investment. What does that mean? I make sure that if a music artist spend $999, or if a music artist spend $1,000, that they at least get $999 back. That's what I do. How do I do it? Several ways. Book a consultation and I'll tell you more. But I'm holding myself accountable for saying that more, for saying who I am, for acknowledging my accomplishments, because I have a ton of them that I've never celebrated. I've done some major shit in my life that I never celebrated. I never wanted to have people give me accolades. I never could receive a compliment. I never could receive a compliment. And I was able to connect it to the situation that happened to me when I was younger. And that's why I was afraid when people gave me compliments, because I always thought something else came behind the compliment. So I was like, no, don't give me a compliment. No, it's no. And now that I'm older and I'm like, I've healed that part of me where it's like, oh yeah, thank you. Now I learn to say thank you. Thank you. I still, feel a little shy, but thank you. I worked hard to do that. I worked hard to make history 2 times in 1 year. When I tell you, I worked hard for that. I worked hard to get to the point where I could score a documentary or release an album or record, engineer people. Like, I worked hard to do that. Took classes, cried because I didn't want to learn stuff, but I needed to learn it. That's like these next couple of weeks. I got videos that I'm going to upload and premiere them and set the time, because these next 2 weeks I'm going to be so engulfed in this new AI and chat GPT and all of these other technologies, because I want to go with the wave. I don't want to be, the wave is already out there or it's coming and I'm like, I don't even know. I want to be right there front. I don't want to get left behind. I want to be right there as it is happening. That's where I want to be. So when they first said, I was like right there. Okay, what is it? How do music artists monetize it? Everything that be happening. How do music artists monetize it? That's my thing. I'm a music artist, so. But how do we monetize it? How do I ensure that music artists are protected when it comes to this? And as the greatest music administrator that's out of heaven, I have to hold myself accountable for that. I have to embrace that as a music administrator. There's a lot of things that I need to know. There's a lot of courses, seminars. I got a message from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when the pandemic hit, before the pandemic hit, or as the pandemic was hitting. There was this really big music festival that is over in Germany. And I was like, one day I am going to go to this music festival. It's like a music, business, tech, all surrounded by music, right? And I said, I'm going to go to this. And so, you sign up to get the information or whatever. So I signed up 3 years ago. Friday, I got an email from this music festival, and they were like, hey, we're looking for delegates from the US to come to the festival. And they gave me the dates and all the things that I need to do. And I'm just looking at this email like, that was 3 years ago that I filled out that information and gave it to you guys. And I was like, okay. The procrastinator that I used to be was like, nah. But I said, I'm going to get right on this right away. Right away. I sent that. Got the email. I filled out all the papers. I sent it right back, and they responded back to me expeditiously. And I was like, am I about to be going to Germany? I'm about to go to Germany. 3 years ago, I said that. I'm going to tell you how important. I'm going to tell you why it's important to embrace accountability. Because when you start clearing, right now, you're probably watching this, right? Maybe you come back to watch this. Right now, you have 5 things in your head that is going on. Things that you said you're going to do later. Things that you said you're going to do tomorrow. Things that you said you're going to do this weekend. There's 5 things in your mind. And you're probably looking at me like, don't act like you know me. I don't know you, but I know that there's probably 5 things that you need to do. You have to do 5 things, right? I want you to clear your mind. If that means waking up or before you go to bed tonight, just sit on the side of your bed and listen to some meditation, some calm music, and just, this is my to-do list for tomorrow. Or be grateful. I'm grateful that today turned out the way it did. There might have been some hiccups, but I'm grateful to the way it turned out the way it did. I'm grateful for the peace. I'm grateful for breath. Just express gratitudes, right? When you wake up in the morning, take a moment, look out the window as you're sipping your coffee, your tea, whatever it is that you're doing, but take a moment and just be still. Live in that moment and be still. And I'm saying this because the more you learn to quiet your mind, the happier you will be, and you will be able to do the very things that you wanted to do. You will start to uproot the things that you learn. You will start to uproot and unlearn things so that you can learn the proper way to do things. That happened for me too. I didn't know how to receive a compliment. I didn't know how to receive love because I was doing a lot, busy doing nothing. I was actually doing a lot of things, but I was busy doing nothing. And I couldn't receive a compliment because of the things that happened to me when I was younger. But one day, when I cleared that room out, put it in the box, hey, throw it, toss it in the fire, we good, it's over with. Clean up the little space, and it's like, oh, it's a lot roomier up in here. What else? What else have I been wanting to do? Cleaning it out. Clear out your heart and your mind. You got to clear it out. You can't be successful holding on to things that happened to you when you was 12 and 11. You don't have no space. If your hands is like this, your hands is full. There's nothing could go in here. Let it go. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "Chill, it's easier said than done." I'm gonna tell you this one thing, right? The moment you make up in your mind that you're not going to do something, like you ever like, yeah, I'm gonna go on a diet, and then you eat some food, and then it's like your stomach it don't agree, and you like, yeah, I need to go on a diet, and then you get on a diet, and they say if you make it the first 2 days, the third day is like it's simple, you good, you already beat the. Yeah, it's time for us to like change our habits, get rid of habits, especially bad habits. Get rid of those and start something new. Working towards something new. That's my new thing. Like I read every day. I try to read at least 10 pages. I have this thing. I love reading. I love turning the pages. People be getting me books on like Kindles and stuff like that. Hey, if you bought me a book, I truly appreciate it. But I'm like a hardcover paperback, but like I like to turn the pages. I like to fold the pages, highlight, underline. I like to do all of that. I like to mark up the books. So I read a chapter or two a day. I meditate. I work out. I'm juicing. I'm getting back to my regular routine. You know, the surgery definitely threw me off, and I was trying to rush my recovery process. So you know, but I'm embracing accountability. I'm holding myself accountable. If I say I'm going to do a bi-monthly concert series, I am doing everything in my power that I know that needs to be done before the concert even happens. I'm taking care of that. Got the graphic design work. I'm doing everything. So at the end of the year, when I look back, I'm not gonna be like, man, I should have did. I could have did. Man, I wish I would have done. Nope, I'm doing everything. And as I am moving across this journey, I am holding myself accountable to enjoy the moments, to express the feelings, to invite the feelings, to feel the feelings, to acknowledge, to be overwhelmed by the feelings. Not so much so where it's just like, oh, I'm giving up, but just acknowledging that they're there. For a long time, I used to tell people, like, it's a long time, I felt like I was heartless. Like, I turned my emotions off. Nothing bothers me. It, that don't mean anything, knowing it meant something, because in the back of my head, it was just like, damn, I couldn't believe that this person. But now it's like, no, I'm dealing with shit right when it happens. There's no time for me to store anything in the back of my mind because I'm trying to get overseas. I'm trying to go out the country. I'm trying to get, not trying to, I will be going out the country. My platform will be being built and it's going to be utilized by music artists, music creators, producers, singers, songwriters, parents of creative singers, songwriters, writers, music business organizations. They will utilize my platform to ensure that music artists are properly compensated. You see, I just spoke that in the air. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. And y'all gonna be along for the ride because I'm gonna share it with y'all. I'm gonna show y'all, and I'm holding myself accountable for doing that. I'm gonna embrace the fact that the only way that I can be successful is if I get out of my own way. You know, when you're little, they ask you, what did you want to be? And people was like a doctor, a lawyer, a basketball player. I'm going to be a football player. All those things, right? They go to AAU. They go to all these different camps. You go to high school, you're doing good, but maybe you don't make it to the NBA. I went to yesterday. I did statistics for, or I did stats, statistics for the international. I forgot what it's called, but it's a professional women's league here. And so I was doing stats, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't done this in high school, but it was dope because just like that, remembered how to do it. It's a different form and everything, but I looked at it. It was like, oh, okay, I got the basics of it, so I feel that it was actually pretty dope. And I was talking to one of the basketball players. She's like, yeah, I just graduated from college or whatever, and she's like, I haven't played in 2 years. When I tell y'all, this lady was shooting lights out, like wherever she touched the ball, wherever she was at on the court, she was shooting lights out. Haven't played in 2 years and was shooting lights out. You know me, it would have took me a look. Let me get a couple of shots. It's a warm up. Gotta remember how to hold the, When I tell y'all, she was out there like she said I haven't played in 2 years, and then she started telling me I was sitting here talking to her. I was like, hey, hold on. I just came to do stats. I didn't come for you to tell me positive affirmations or say some kind words to me and motivate me. That's not what I came for. But we laughed because it was like, that's really not what I came for. But that's just what happened. That's why I was saying earlier, you have to pay attention, because that very thing, if you like God is God, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, I don't be trying to, disrespect anybody's religion. But when you be like, is it worth it? Are people really listening? Can I actually help somebody? Is it valuable? Can it actually be successful? When you asking those questions, right? I think sometimes we just be asking questions like rhetorical questions. Like we don't really want the answer to them, but we ask the questions anyways. And then life just be like, here's your answer. Yes, you matter. Yes, you are enough. You are loved. You know how I know you are loved? Because I love you. I love you. I love everything about you. I love your faults, your fears, your failures, your successes. I love your tries. I love everything about you, because that's what makes you you. That's what makes you you. That's all I got, y'all. I just want to come and talk about embracing accountability. Like, it is time. You have survived a global fucking pandemic. You have nothing but time, space, and opportunity to be great. You have no other choice but to be great. Like, think about it. 2 years ago, you couldn't go outside. You couldn't hug your mother, your father, sister, brother. We couldn't go to funerals. We couldn't see babies born. Everybody had to be in the house. There was no jobs. It was just in the house with the person you was in the house with. Then it slowly started letting us back outside. And here we are in 2023. What have you accomplished? Have you made a vision board for 2023? Do you have hopes, dreams, goals, and aspirations for 2023? Or are you just like, man, if I make it to the end of the year, I'm going to be good? Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I would be grateful too. But by the time I get to December 2023, I've already, it's only July. I've already accomplished a lot of the things that I set out to do. And some of them I've accomplished early. So if it keeps going this way, by the time I get to December 2023, I mean, hey, I might be living in another country. Y'all might be seeing nurturing conversations from Rome, Italy, or London, or St. Lucia. Probably see me on a cruise. I don't know. You're going to see me in a different space. You're going to see that in a different space. I got equipment for it. I mean, hey, I'm just about learning, growing, healing, learning, growing, and having the courage to do all of it. This has been a Nurturing Conversation podcast. I'm your host, Shell, also known as Midwest Hummingbird, also known as iShell, also known as a lot of things to a lot of people. Today's topic was embracing accountability. I hope that I said something that empowers you, inspires you, encourages you to be great, to live your best life, regardless of what anybody thinks about you. I will never let a live video, vlog, podcast, short, anything that I present to you go out without me telling you to love yourself. This includes your faults, your fears, and your failures. Know yourself, trust yourself. Now, when I say trust, I mean the hairs on the back of your neck when they stand up, that's a sign. The goosebumps you get on your arms, that's a sign. The feeling you get in the pit of your stomach is a sign. That loud or that small voice is a sign. Many people say it's their first mind. Follow it because it will not lead you wrong. I feel like one of these topics is going to be trust yourself. It's going to have something to do with trust yourself. Because a lot of times we are not taught to trust ourselves. We are taught to trust our parents. We're taught to trust adults. And we're taught to suppress, not directly, sometimes directly, but not directly. We're taught to suppress our feelings and emotions for other people's feelings and emotions, or how other people think we should live. We're going to talk about that. But most importantly, just be yourself. Why? Because you need you. I need you. This great big old world needs you to be exactly who you were created to be, not who we want you to be so that you can feel loved, because anybody that do not love, respect, or appreciate you for being authentically you does not deserve to be in your space. Let me say that one more time. I'm going to say it loudly just in case you don't already know. Anybody that cannot love, respect, or appreciate you for being authentically you, the person you were born to be, if they cannot do that, they do not deserve to be in your space. It is time for you to learn and understand boundaries, set them, and stand 10 toes down on them. Anybody who truly loves you will be right there. They're not going to throw you by the wayside. They're going to love you in spite of. If you haven't been paying attention to the news, you most definitely should, because there is a lot of things happening. Not just local news, world news, financial news, farming news, business news. Pay attention to everything. Make sure you get you some toiletries, non-perishable food items, water, disinfectants, have some cash money to the side, and some coins. And if you are engaging in adult activities, make sure that you wrap that shit up, because STD rates, despite being in a global pandemic, the STD rates are on the rise. That's all I got. Until next time. I don't have an ending screen. Oh my God, I don't have an ending screen. Let me see. Oh, okay. Until next time. It don't fit. I gotta get the ending screen for this, but it tells y'all that I'm ending. So that's all I got. Until next time, I love you. Peace.